I'll tell you why in a second. All right, everybody, welcome back to the last Waiver Wire show of the year for the Dynasty Rewind. Thank you again for joining us through from weeks 2 to, what is this, 14? It feels like it's eternity. It feels like it's February already, but we're going to explain some changes that we have going on in a few minutes, and that's on the Dynasty Rewind Waiver Wire show starting now.
You are now listening to the Dynasty Rewind.
All right, welcome back to the Week 14 Waiver Wire Show. I'm your host, Michael Bauer, using Porkman's new microphone that I got to get to him eventually, just giving it a trial run. So, hey, Porkman, how's it going? Week 14, you're in the playoffs in all your leagues, right?
The majority of them, probably like 80-90%. One of the leagues I messed up in, it's just injuries just smashed me. But other than that, I've got number one seeds and all that good stuff.
All right. Fantasy Analyst of the Year, Phil Simmons, thank you very much for chiming in there. Also joining us again, part of the crew, Matty Big Chest. What's up, Matty?
Living the dream, man. Out here, if you need MFL pages, hit me up.
Yeah, so listen, he makes some fantastic stuff. He's made a lot of logos for us. He did make a video for us, and I have to apologize. I actually meant to text you. It says it has to be in an MP4 file. So I don't know. It's something else. Yeah, we'll talk then. So, sorry about that. Joining us, our guest for the last Waiver Wire show of the season, we have Aaron Wilcox. You can find him on Twitter at Aaron Wilcox 86. I'm not going to spell it out for you because this is not in pod form. You can just look at the bottom of your screen. Aaron, how are we this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys very much for having me on.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. We've talked a little bit on Twitter now. So why don't you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Sure, yeah, I'll give you a brief little idea. So I am a student physical therapist. I've been up in Duluth, Minnesota, so St. Scholastica, and so I've been doing some Dynasty and Devi content. Now the last year, I was mostly just grinding in my fantasy leagues for years and years, and then recently I've started putting out some content. So I do a little podcasting with the Dynasty Monocle Devi devotional series, and then also do some writing for the Dynasty Draft Room. So just happy to be talking fantasy with you guys.
Yeah, TDDR, as the Dynasty Draft Room can be abbreviated by. I'm in a league that Aaron Schill started. That was actually going to be one of my most promising leagues this year, and then my first 2-round draft picks just got hurt. So, Saquon Barkley, right in the tanks. What are you going to do, man? 2020 going to 2020, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's how it is. So, Porkman, this microphone smells weird. I'm going to have to clean this up before I give it to you. So,
smell like mothballs.
I don't know. It's a little musty or something like that. So I do have to apologize if I don't sound my normal self and have my normal booming timber, as I'm known to have. I'm a little stuffy. I don't have the Rona. I think it's either allergies or just a small head cold. So if I'm nasally and sniffly, I do apologize, but you'll deal with it. So, hey, let's talk some news and injuries and whatnot. The New York Jets have fired the wrong coach. They fired defensive coordinator Greg Williams. I get it was a bad play call, but come on.
What's a bad play call?
But come on. And Adam Gase are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Las Vegas Raiders head coach John Gruden not confident in running back Josh Jacobs returning this week. So another week of Devontae Booker, some sort of Booker. Get him in there. The New York Giants, the NFC East leading New York Giants, are optimistic that Daniel Jones can play this week. Washington hands Pittsburgh their first loss of the season, 23-17. Then a running back, Todd Gurley, is still nursing a knee injury. I know that's news to everybody. Antonio Gibson, Porkman, leaves the game versus Pittsburgh with a toe injury. We'll talk about his potential replacement coming up here in a little bit. And before the game, Baltimore wide receiver Dez Bryant tests positive for COVID. He was pulled out of warm-ups, and he announces he is quitting the rest of the season. I'm hoping that this is just like a heat of the moment type thing.
Yeah, he's probably just pissed off.
Yeah, can anyone go on Facebook and see who's saying nice shirt, Mike? I'm going to guess it's Cody. Yeah, it's a plain sweatshirt, Cody. Thank you very much. And then the last piece of news that I just kind of want to take a minute and talk about is, really, Porkman, you can't put that on mute?
I'm trying to. It's
Okay.
Cody.
Okay. Damn it, Cody. So the last piece of news I want to talk about for a minute here is Philadelphia Eagles head coach Doug Peterson has named Jalen Hurts the starting quarterback. Are you fucking kidding me? You have basically done nothing since the Super Bowl to give this guy anything to build around. I'm talking about Carson Wentz. What they basically did was, we're just going to go status quo. We're going to keep trotting Alshon Jeffrey out there. We're going to trot Deshaun Jackson out there. Instead of trading away Miles Sanders in the second round pick, that became Jalen Hurts, which, by the way, you'd make that trade 1,000 times out of 1,000 to get a guy like DeAndre Hopkins on your roster. What they did was they created a quarterback controversy, and it has now come to head. Fantasy football is different from real football. I'm sure you guys can all relate to that there. Alvin Kamara doesn't care if you put Saquon Barkley on your team. Okay. But in real NFL football, what you have is emotions that come into play. This is basically, you're telling this guy, we don't want you anymore. Does that make sense? You constantly have somebody looking over his shoulder. You're going to make mistakes. It's going to look like trash. The only guy that was keeping you in these games, and he has played bad. I'm going to be the first one to admit that. I've been a massive Wentz apologist since he came to the league. First 2 years was great. He's the only guy that looks like he's out there trying. So you're going to bench Carson Wentz. You're going to keep putting Alshon Jeffrey on the field. You're going to keep putting Jason Peters on the field. You're going to try J.J. Arcega-Whiteside out there, John Hightower, but you're not going to play Davion Taylor, Sean Bradley, Quez Watkins, guys that could actually help you win. It is absolutely embarrassing the way that this team and this franchise is being run right now. Okay, Howie Roseman should be fired and ran out of town for the way that they have managed this roster and the way that they have treated this quarterback. And for all the Philadelphia Eagles fans out there that want Jalen Hurts to be the starter and want Carson Wentz out of town, you are going to be sorry when he is in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform, a Denver Broncos uniform, an Indianapolis Colts uniform, or some other uniform looking like the old Carson Wentz, where they're rolling him out of the pocket, they're bootlegging him, they're getting him guys in space. We're going to be sorry. We're going to be sorry, and we're going to be sitting here 6-10 with a broken down, poor man's version of Lamar Jackson. It is not going to be good. Why are Eagles fans so pissed off about it? I'm going to tell you why. After Donovan McNabb, and Victor Williams from the Philly Pod touched on this, I'm basically stealing this from him. All we want is quarterback stability. Went from Kevin Cobb for 8 seconds to years of Mike Vick.
Clay Matthews. Thank you, Clay Matthews. Appreciate you.
Matthews, you dick. We went from that. We went to Michael Vick. Then we went to Sam Bradford and Nick Foles. Well, it was Nick Foles, then Sam Bradford, and then Nick Foles again, and Carson Wentz, and blah, 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 and back and forth, back and forth. We just want some stability. We had that stability, and you turned us on your heads. And for that, Howie Roseman, you get a massive F for how you have mismanaged this franchise. We need to get Joe Douglas back. We need to get him evaluating talent, because look at what he's done with the Jets. Are they a bad team? Yes. And that is a poorly mismanaged team. Again, the way that it's run on game day. But look at what they've done in their draft. They have Denzel Mims. They have LaMichael Pirine. Good value guys that could be good contributors. Mekhi Becton was their first round draft pick, attack or guard or whatever he plays. So the fact is, they're spending draft capital at important positions to try to win football games. Adam Gase is just an idiot. So at the end of the day, I feel for Carson Wentz, because, I work in a job where I kind of feel like I'm not wanted. I got a boss that seems to like another guy better than me, which is fine. I don't care, because at the end of the day, I make the shop more money, and that's irrelevant. But I understand why Carson would be upset, yet he's doing nothing but being the amicable team player. He's a great stand-up guy. And Birds fans, if you want him out of town, you're going to be sorry. But that being said, the cap doesn't necessitate that he's going to get out of town easily. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Pops is saying sign Randall Cunningham. I'll take him over Jalen Hurts right now, because I guarantee he's got a better arm. So we're going to be sorry. That's all I could say. So just a little irritated today. Not the sleeper update I wanted to get. But remember, Eagles fan or not, there's one thing that we can always get behind: the best beer koozie on the planet. I don't think they make this anymore, but it makes me happy. So makes me happy today. I see Maddie loves it. So also, I just want to let you know that Aaron is a Minnesota Vikings fan. So the NFC North representative. You see that? I've got Maddie there. So Aaron, we got to get you to come over and work with the with the Dynasty Rewind, because then we'll have an entire division represented. So
For real.
Ooh, I would like that very much. It's been an up and down year as a Vikes fan, but we're turning it around. I was kind of in favor of just trying to tank, not do very well this year to get a good quarterback, but I guess we're trying to go for it.
One? Kirk Cousins has been very good recently. I mean,
he has been more
really
efficient.
helped, but his efficiency is what's helped that offense a lot, and he's just been so good in play action. Like his ability to move around in the pocket, like it's understated because he's been so, I don't know, he's slippery this year. Like this part of the season, it's nice to see.
It's so weird seeing a offense call plays to their players' advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to
Speaking
that.
about the NFC East is going to be very open for every team but the Eagles next year. It looks like based on the cap situation, man.
I completely agree.
So your rant is completely warranted.
And the problem is, I said it before the season, their window of opportunity was there for this year, but it was closing rapidly with hiring Mike McCarthy in Dallas and with hiring Riverboat Ron in Washington. I didn't know what we had in Joe Judge. It looks like that's going to end up being a good hire. So that window of opportunity was really closing. And looking at the draft and what they did in free, or lack of what they did in free agency, they really didn't do anything to address it. And unfortunately, I think you're going to see a massive exodus of talent on the defensive side. Some old guys. Unfortunately, I see guys like Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham probably wearing a different uniform next year. They might have to trade Darius Slay to create some cap room. Who knows? Jason Peters is going to be gone, but you could have guys like Lane Johnson, Zach Ertz. These guys might have to go because they have to create cap space. And I don't like it. It's hard. I've been through 30 years of being an Eagles fan. It's not getting any easier. And like Porkman, you said it best. We sold our soul for the Super Bowl. But now if you look at the years since the Super Bowl, this is one of those circumstances where maybe winning the Super Bowl was one of the worst things that could happen to the franchise because of the way it's been managed since then.
I would sell my soul for a Lions Super Bowl.
I'll still take.
I'm sure you would sell your soul for a Viking Super Bowl.
If we had a competent, if we had a competent GM, which he doesn't call himself a GM, he's the director of player personnel, which is BS because he does not know how to scout talent as it is. We would have been fine, but he effed up on draft picks. He effed up on contracts and everybody keeps saying he's a cat wizard. Cat wizard was BS because all he kept doing was moving money back, and then money back again till now we're stuck. The Alshon Jeffrey deal is garbage.
And they're playing over
Carson. Yep. And we did pay. I agree. We paid Carson at the right time, but if you're paying Carson now, his contract doesn't kick over until next year. And now you start a quarterback controversy because you drafted a quarterback a year before his $128 million contract kicks in. So I don't understand what the hell they were trying to do. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to be an Eagles fan, even though we're going to tank regardless. We're going to have to get rid of just a whole bunch of salary, like just a ton, to a point where we're going to be dookie. But we're going to have we got to bring somebody in who can evaluate talent. Yeah. Joe Douglas, like you said, Joe Douglas got all them guys. He got bomb linebackers there. Yeah. We don't have those. They drafted Mekhi Becton, who's a Pro Bowler in his rookie year.
And he's been getting banged up, but this is the game.
He's still playing, and he's still balling.
Playing. Exactly. And the FF Realist was checking him before. He has a lot of connections. So if you could get this next part to Mr. Lurie, Jeff, my man, come on. I love you. I love what you've done with the team since you bought it. I would like to just throw it out there and say, I'm probably as good of a talent evaluator as Howie Roseman. I could say that. I scout for Dynasty Fantasy Football. I'll do it for way cheaper than him, man. Seriously.
Bro, I'll do it.
Yeah. Well, me and Porkman, I'll tell you what, combined, pay us what Howie's making.
Bro, right. I'll take half. I don't care what it is.
Shut up. We're trying to get in together and make more money. Come on. So, all right. So, someone relay that to Jeff Lurie. We'll see what we can do. So, I'm done.
Cut Nate Gary.
Yes, Cut Nate Gary. Buy the shirt at ViridianGlobal.com. You could be one of two people that own one, myself being the other one. Designed by Matty Big Chest himself, man. That was a great design. So I love it. Simple, but
very political looking. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love it. So All right, let's move on. Enough about that. I'm palpitating over here. Okay, so excuse me.
Palpitating.
Yes. So I do just want to take you guys a minute. Nate's not here. He is our daily prop guy, but I just want to say, hey, Rewinders, I want to tell you about a new and exciting way to play DFS. Aaron loves playing DFS, right? Yeah.
Oh
see?
yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
if he wants to, he could head over to our friends at monkeyknifefight.com. Monkey Knife Fight is sweeping the globe right now, and you can place daily fantasy props on everything from football to soccer, golf, and even MMA. I seriously don't know how you place it on MMA, but you could do it. When you head over to monkeyknifefight.com and use the promo code REWIND, all caps, one word, Monkey Knife Fight will match your first deposit up to $50. Who doesn't like cashing in with house money? So one more time, that's monkeyknifefight.com and use the promo code REWIND when you make your first deposit to start rolling in those prizes today. And scrub game parlay. Porkman, did I write that down?
You did write it down, but for Monkey Knife Fight, I do have one. I've been doing a couple per week, and this one was a 5 for 5. You had to hit on all 5.
I'm gonna look for what I wrote.
It was a $2 buy-in, and it was Kirk Cousins more or less 265 passing yards, Mike Glennon more or less 239 passing yards, Adam Thielen was less than 75.5 receiving yards. Justin Jefferson was more or less 5.5 receptions, and Dalvin Cook was more or less 104 yards rushing. And I hit all of them, so $2 made $40. So
that's really
I would
good
say
right there. I mean,
yeah,
it was that.
Yeah, so I mean, hey, put $2 in. If you do the 6 for 6, you can make $70, and then you can
I
flip
can pay my
that $70
Comcast
to make
bill.
something. Exactly.
Dude,
Like
I
I
gotta start
started.
getting on that Monkey Knife Fight.
And I
Yeah,
would
go on there. I'm telling you, I put in 25. They matched my 25. I got 50. Now my account, I have $180, and that was what in 2-3 weeks.
I would also like to say, if you would like to help Matty Big Chest pay his Comcast bill, who royally screwed him, just hit him up on Twitter at Matty Big Chest. Make some amazing graphics, little video clips, stuff like that, or I don't know. Just hit him up. He's gonna tell you what he could do. I'm not gonna tell you what he could do, but it's amazing. It's fantastic. The work is fast. So hit him up.
Yeah.
Do it. Or
I can do literally anything you need.
Yeah, whatever you need. So our scrub parlay was I just had it. Okay. It was Richie James Jr. More or less 3 points. And I don't see him on the box score. He is a wide receiver for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm looking. Let me see if he got any tackles. That's about the only way he's going to get on here.
Yeah,
No.
I know. I took the less.
Yeah. So myself, Pork, and Chev took the less. That means the next time Nate is on the podcast, he owes us a drink. So
Good.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Dynasty Viper's checking and saying anything what? I'm assuming this is Dingus running the couch. So
yes, that's things.
So tell me what you need, my man. Anything what you got for me? So he's gonna tell us in a minute then. Oh, hey, speaking of Vipers, we got Chev. What's good, Chev? Joining us
What's going on, boys? Matty Big Chest, what's good? What's up, Aaron?
Hey.
Living the dream over here, man.
All right.
Nice to be a Detroit Lions fan this week, man.
It's great. I feel ecstatic.
You guys keep winning so we get a better draft pick. I appreciate you guys doing that. It's awesome.
This is me smiling.
I got a question, Matty. With the whole Lions thing, do you think? Oh, do we like this or do we like this?
I like that.
I like that one.
Too close to Matty Big Chest, I think, on the first one.
6
feet apart.
Do you think Stafford's back next year? I heard some people saying he might not. Yeah, I kind of feel like he's back. I feel like he's a Lion until he retires.
Yeah.
It
would be like getting rid of Carson Wentz if you traded him away.
It's hurting, man. Think it's checking and saying, look at that beauty lip warmer on Chev. He's loving what he's seeing there.
Yeah, there's not much there, man. You know, I got to start growing. It's December. You know, you don't shave anything except your beard if you can't grow a regular beard. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, and Chev's in Arizona, so it might get under 70 degrees. So he's got to bundle up down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I've been rocking the Dynasty Rewind hoodie for a while now. I got a lot of people asking for orders, so maybe somebody can get a Christmas present, huh?
Slide into my DMs. We'll get you set up. we'll get it shipped out to you. Just need to get an order through first. I can't order them single. She has to, there's a limit that she needs to fire up the screen print press for him. Completely understandable. So,
okay. I will say one thing for the Vipers. Go check out my boy Dingus' Twitter. They're doing some good stuff over there, doing some stuff where Dingus is going to get waxed, I believe.
Yeah, him and Chase
all for a good cause, man. I think they're trying to get like $2,000. So, hey, there's Dynasty Viper gear too that'll go for it too. So if you buy a shirt, a certain amount goes to it. So hit them up, man. Got to get that money for them kids.
Perfect. And I know the Vipers are working with our friends over at Viridian Global. That's run by Will Harris from True North Fantasy Football, friend of mine, friend of the show. There's also a couple Dynasty Rewind pieces of gear that you can get on there. We have a holiday sweater on there as well. Sorry, no hoodies right now. Also, if you reach out to Viridian Global, there's no hoodies, but it's not Will's fault. Their supplier's having problems, so cut Will a break. You can get a Dynasty Rewind holiday shirt, sweatshirt, and you can get a Cut Nate Gary shirt too. Like I said, you could be one of two people in the world that owns one, myself being the other one. Unless they send Matty, I don't know. We'll see. So, but all right, hey, let's talk about some waiver ads. What do you guys think? So, I'll tell you what, Aaron, you are the guest, and again, so happy to have you on tonight. Let's start with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take you through a couple of my top guys just to start. Well, of course, Jalen Hurts. We don't even need to talk about that one. We already got you fired up already, but you shouldn't be out there on Superflex waiver wires. I mean, the guy should be rostered everywhere, but you got to check. Snap him up for sure if he's available. And then in 1 QB leagues, I mean, depending on the depth, he's definitely a viable pickup just because of that rushing floor he's going to have. And I mean, he's not going to be a plug and play rest of season, but he could be a really, really nice piece going forward. And then my other guy I'd like to mention is Kute. And so for Houston Texans, he's been obscured for a couple years. I don't know why Bill O'Brien hated him. It didn't really make any sense, but Bill O'Brien's gone. And rest of season, he's going to play heavy snaps. He's going to get targets. The talent's been there. He was I would say a good prospect coming out of Texas Tech. A lot of tools, great athleticism. And now he actually has the opportunity to get a lot of targets. Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball. I'm comfortable throwing a lot of fab at him as a waiver wire pickup this week. So I would feel comfortable throwing him in if you really need a desperation flex, even in the playoffs.
Okay. I don't hate that at all. I mean, you said
I love it.
Those targets. Maddie, let's go to you. You got any waiver ads for us?
Yeah. Some guy that I've been on for quite some time is Ty Johnson out of the New York Jets. He is a very fast running back. He's a very linear running back. He's just north-south, and he doesn't really do any jukes to his game. He's going to run you over or he's going to run by you. So he's a guy that has gotten some opportunities this last week due to a Frank Gore concussion, I believe. So we'll see if Frank Gore can clear the concussion protocol and come back. But I'm going to throw some fab at Ty Johnson and keep him away from my competitors from getting him.
Yeah, that's smart. And, going back to what you said, Aaron, too, even if you don't plan on playing Jalen Hurts, if he can't be played against you, it's always one way to look at it. I don't know if I'd fire him up this week. New Orleans does have a really good defense. Ty Johnson was one of my guys, too. I mean, look what he did last week. 22 carries, 104 yards, and a touchdown, 2 catches for 13 yards. So not much in the receiving game there, but the ground game was fantastic. And I actually thought they were running the ball really well against the Raiders. I know the Raiders didn't have the best. Their defense isn't exactly top tier, but that was really impressive for a bad Jets team that actually probably should have won that game, to be honest with you. But hey, Jets are going to Jets, right?
Do you think they intentionally let Ruggs score that last second touchdown?
Wouldn't surprise me. And then Williams was the scapegoat for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Gase fired Williams. Gase said he fired him.
Exactly.
It wasn't Douglas.
It would have been so funny. I could see Williams firing Gase just because he just seems like one of those guys. No, I'm not fired. You're fired. He's just getting all pissy.
They probably said that, too.
Gase probably has a bounty on him now. Gase better watch his neck.
He probably does. Hey, every fantasy player in the world has a bounty on Adam Gase, and nothing's happened to him yet. So I don't know about that. Chev, you got any waiver ads for us?
I just got one, And this guy has only caught one ball. I mean, he might only got one target the last like 8 weeks. He might be in a retirement home somewhere, but I think it's time to go pick up Van Jefferson if he's on your waiver wire. He actually got 5 targets this week, and he caught, I believe, 4 of those targets. So, hey, it's looking like Van Jefferson might get a chance to catch Justin Jefferson and help out with our bet, bud. He's got a chance.
Yeah.
What do you think about Pork?
Watch if we go nuts week 17, have like 500 yards. Still don't know.
He still ain't gonna catch him.
Then I hope you're playing Jared Goff and DFS that day, man. If that's the case, I mean,
right.
I don't hate the Van Jefferson pick. Pork, how about yourself? You got any waiver ads for us? The waiver wire is getting a little thin here.
There is, but there's some really trashy picks, but productive picks. So this week the Jaguars are playing Tennessee, and for some reason Tennessee's pass defense is absolutely horrible. So I will go with Colin Johnson and Mike Glennon, both of them this week. I think that would be a nice cheap DFS play if you play the both of them as well. You can go cheap there and spend some money up in other places. Tennessee made Baker Mayfield look like Joe Montana. Like, it was freaking wild. He was going ham all day. Mike Glennon surprisingly actually looks really good these past couple of weeks when they've been playing them. And Laviska Shenault was supposed to be the guy to take over this year for Jacksonville. Sorry, Nate. He hasn't been doing too well. He had a couple of injuries. I think he's been dealing with some injury issues. But Colin Johnson, he had 66 yards this week. He had a touchdown last week, and he's starting to flash a lot. So I think you can start them in the playoffs. Unfortunately, it's the playoffs. I know he wants to start Mike Glennon and Colin Johnson in the playoffs, but against Tennessee, it's a great matchup. So you can fire them up. Because they're going to have to throw. Derrick Henry's going to run the ball on them like crazy. So they're going to have to pass anyway.
It's funny you say that because Laviska Shenault's actually one of my guys this week. And that's more of, I think, a redraft pick. He's obviously going to be rostered in your dynasty leagues. But, last week, 2 carries for 30 yards, 3 catches, 38 yards, and a touchdown. So not a ton of volume, but they do mix it up with what they do for him, or do with him, I should say. Aside from that, the only other guy I'd really consider, because there's not, like I said, not a ton out there. You're picking up Devontae Booker. He's probably already rostered. Maybe a guy like Rashard Higgins. He had a good week last week. But maybe J.D. McKissick, he had a couple down weeks compared to what he had been doing. But if Antonio Gibson misses some time, he could kind of be the next guy up there, right? Yeah, I didn't stat him out here. I actually ran out of time to do that. But J.D. McKissick has been a guy in a lot of my lineups. Because Porkman, you've seen how trashy some of my lineups have been lately.
Yeah, but I mean, this year is 2020, so this year I'll give you a pass, bro. Because every team that's supposed to be good was bad, and all the bad teams, like my usual suspects team, gave me a number 2 seed, which made absolutely no sense. So I just sold all my 2021 stuff so I can win this year, and then sell everything in the off season. Exactly. I know the team ain't that good.
Yeah.
So what would you give up for Mike Glennon right now if you're in a super flex? Because I'm in a situation where I have Kirk Cousins and that's it right now, and I'm the number 4 seed or 3 seed, one of those. I'm not thinking I'm gonna make. I don't think I'm gonna win. So that's why I'm kind of holding out and saying if I lose, I lose.
Where's Taysom Hill?
Don't.
Same guy has him, and he wants like a first round pick, and I don't know if I'm ready to do that, man.
I would say don't trade for Glennon, because this week he has a good matchup, and then the week after that is Baltimore, and then it's Chicago.
So he wants a third, and I'm like, this is a guy that's never going to play for me ever again. I don't know if that's really worth it for me to do that.
I think I would do a third though, because I think you can get a third back pretty easy. You know what I mean? Like a third. Or let's say even if it's not a third, if it's a high 4th, and then maybe you package it up with something and move back up. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I think I would do a third if you're trying to win it. You know what I mean? It's a small.
This class is really deep. If it's a super flex league, I probably wouldn't do a third.
Okay.
But I would definitely do a 4th for Mike Glennon. But a guy you might want to target is Jared Goff if you're looking to improve your quarterback room. Jared Goff has a really favorable playoff matchup. He's playing Seattle, I think, in the championship game. He's just got a great schedule for him. But he's Jared Goff. He can turn into Jared Goof at any moment.
This is true.
That is true. And I have Drew Brees, but Drew Brees got knocked the frick out, man.
He might. I don't know if he plays again in the regular season. To be honest,
that's one tough SOB, dude.
Yeah,
he is.
I wouldn't play him if I was Sean Payton. Saying that you can chill on the bench and we'll ride Taysom. And apparently,
to a first round bye.
Yeah. You bring Jameis Winston in for this exact situation, and then they just don't play him.
I mean, it's working out for him, though. I mean, Taysom Hill is not playing like a bum. He's keeping them in the game. He's keeping them consistent. I mean, last week he's throwing the football around to Michael Thomas, who I thought would be really struggling with this, but last week came up and put up like 10 catches for like 90 yards or something like that. Not a Michael Thomas big game, but better than Michael Thomas the last 2 weeks. So Alvin Kamara is the one really hurting through this one, though.
Yeah, touchdowns is killing him.
Speaking of running backs, I got a question for you guys here. So we talked earlier about how Todd Gurley's nursing this knee issue. If Todd Gurley misses week 14, which running back for Atlanta do we trust? What, Porkman? You know where I was going with this, right?
Yeah.
Is it Ito Smith, 8 carries for 36 yards, 1 catch for -2 yards? Ito Smith was Nate's guy. Or is it Brian Hill, 5 carries for 18 yards, no touchdowns, no receiving work? Or do we just completely look somewhere else?
It's
Aaron,
Ito.
You think it's okay? Porkman's going Ito. Aaron, what about you?
And I'm going Ito, but it's purely desperation. I mean, if I'm starting him, I'm not feeling good about it whatsoever.
Okay, Maddie, what do you?
Skip.
Skip. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, hey. So you would look somewhere else then, right?
Mm-hmm.
If maybe like a Ty Johnson if he's out there and Frank Gore misses time. I don't hate that. Chev, you feel the same way?
Yep, same way for me.
I mean, I guess if I had to pick one of these guys, I guess it would probably be Ito Smith, but I would probably rather look somewhere else, like a Ty Johnson. Something like, I mean,
and do you know the rest of their schedule for the rest of the year? Because I mean, that will also depend on it as well.
Yeah, that I haven't looked into that, to be perfectly honest with you. We talked some waivers here, and if anyone has any other waivers ads they want to throw out, that's fine throughout the show. But Aaron does some Devi stuff too. Do you have anything you would like to talk to us about? I mean, it's that time pretty much, and I'll just throw it out there real quick. We're going to be switching back to Dynasty real soon because in season's almost over. It's not really our specialty. We could scout talent all day long, but starts and sits, it's not our thing. You know what I mean? So we're going to be switching it back to Dynasty, which means you need to be prepared. And if you're a diligent Dynasty player, you need to know what's coming up down the road. So, Aaron, is there anything you would like to prepare us for coming up?
Well, I think Matty Big Chest really brought up a great point there with the depth of this upcoming draft class. So when we're talking about fantasy owners trying to trade their thirds away at this time of season, most years those thirds are not hitting. They're not significant pieces. They're not going to pay off long term. It's not a high probability bet. But this season, I put together my top 50 2021 rookies. Man, there's great prospects falling into that third round. So just something to keep in mind with the depth. And as far as anything in general, no, but I mean, this is a talented draft class. And in those super flex leagues, there's a bunch of quarterbacks. There's up to 5 quarterbacks that could be drafted day 1 or day 2. So
I count 6.
Right. There could be 6. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, we had this discussion today. We said if Mac Jones wins the Natty and then Kyle Trask wins the Heisman, you could see 6. But that would take Florida beating Alabama in the SEC championship game, and then Alabama still making it to the playoffs and winning.
Well, they love the SEC in the playoffs, so probably
exactly why it could happen.
Yeah.
Here's my take. Kyle Pitts, where do you want him to go, Aaron?
Whew, that is a great question. I've heard the Patriots, and I think that's interesting. But I actually don't think that's not my top destination. I actually haven't thought about landing spots as much for Pitts. He could go a lot. I mean, most places and succeed. So, I mean, I could easily see him succeeding in Jacksonville, but he's just not going to fall out of the first round. And Jacksonville's going to draft a quarterback if they're smart. So, yeah, I'm not sure as far as landing spot, but I mean, he's almost landing spot proof as far as a tight end prospect. And
Similar
I
to
was,
TJ Hawkinson. Yeah, he's very high. I have 2 spots for you. I want to get your opinion on them. Dallas Cowboys and then your Minnesota Vikings.
ooh, Dallas Cowboys love it. And then Vikings, I'm still holding out some hope for Irv Smith. I think
Run 2 tight ends?
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely could. But as far as fantasy viability, like real life landing spots, oh, that'd be great for the Minnesota Vikings. Fantasy, yeah, they might cannibalize each other a little bit. Probably more or less wiping out Irv Smith's relevance more than anything, because Pitts would be the superior talent there. But I was going to also mention one more waiver wire ad for, I mean, maybe shallow to medium-ish rosters, but Cole Kmet. So he was really the only rookie tight end that I've been interested in. I don't actually own any shares, but I wish I could pick him up. He's not available anywhere I'm at, but his snap share is rising. So are the targets. And I mean, at least against Detroit this week, but it could be a sign of things to come for him. So they don't have other top end talent there at the tight end position. So I could see him rising in value this offseason and the rest of the season. So, but yeah, this 2021 draft class has a lot better tight end talent than this previous years.
What do you think about this 2021 wide receiver class? And also, I want to say Cole Kmet is our intern's waiver wire pickup of the week. I was actually typing that out to put in the comments, and you said just odd timing. It's great. But what do you think about this wide receiver class? Do you think? I mean, obviously, everyone says a lot of you could have this many quarterbacks go, this many wide receivers, running backs in this round, blah blah blah. But we also, I feel like when we say these things, we kind of focus too much on a fantasy football aspect, skill positions. You always have to consider linemen, defensive backs, linebackers, defense, whatever. You understand where I'm coming from here. There's other positions as well that teams consider in the first round. But this wide receiver class I know is really good. What do you think about it, though?
Yeah, no, I'm there with everybody else who's propping it up. Like, the depth of the wide receiver position is actually insane. And I think that there's guys that are totally flying under the radar right now that could land in the first round of the NFL draft. Like Terrace Marshall out of LSU. I think he goes first round, and I haven't heard much out of the Dynasty community. There's some people catching on in the Devy community for sure. But then there's guys who are a little bit forgotten, like Tylan Wallace out of Oklahoma State. I mean, he's forgotten, but he's going to be really good. I could see him making a Tyler Boyd type of impact. Okay. You got Diami Brown out of UNC. I mean, the guy, yeah, he's great. I mean, I comped him to kind of in between like a James Washington and a Terry McLaurin as far as like play style, things like that. He's more of a perimeter guy, but some flexibility. But it's like, but as I keep going down this list of 2021 wide receivers, I keep getting more and more impressed. Like Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss, the guy. I mean, nobody's talking about him right now. I think if he gets drafted day 2, the guy could be a stud slot receiver, like tons of PPR points. He's really talented. So I mean, he's blowing away AJ Brown's records at Ole Miss. So. So there's a ton of depth in this wide receiver class, and the running back class is lacking, but there's those couple top end guys, and then there's a ton of depth. So I'm actually kind of encouraged by the amount of depth in this running back class, which you guys might find, I guess, a nice thing to hear, because we've heard about this running back class is nothing special, this and that, but there's actually a lot of depth. I don't know as far as workhorses if we're going to get a bunch of studs out of this class behind ETN and Najee Harris, but there's going to be a lot of depth.
Okay, one last thing that I have for you. Are there any guys that you're a little bit lower on that some of the other guys are high on? And why? 2-part question.
That is a great question. I need to dive in a little bit more to Kyle Trask, so quarterback out of Florida. I am not very high on him. I know he's doing such a great job at the college level. I don't want to take it away from the kid. But as far as him translating to the NFL, I don't see enough special traits, and I'm going to end up being a lot lower on him. But if he gets draft capital, maybe first round, second round, we have to pay attention in our super flex leagues. So we'll see what happens there. And then one other guy is Chris Olave out of Ohio State. I actually am kind of low on him. I don't see a lot of big play upside. He's a really great technician, but he doesn't play strong. He's very finessey. Like he's Dante Pettis, like in a lot of ways. So I don't know. I see a lot of people being really high on him, and I think he can have a good impact, but we'll see.
So Mike's gonna be drafting that guy.
So Chicago's going to be drafting Trask. I'm telling you that.
Dude, I would love if Chicago drafted Trask. And I'll tell you what, Dante Pettis was so weird because like he had that good rookie season. It wasn't anything like overly stellar, like this guy's going to be the next OBJ or whatever, but it was a solid rookie season. I'm like, man, he's in a really good offensive system. I think he could build on it and just
straight to the toilet.
I was selling him off for 4th round picks, man. I'm like, I'm going to get whatever I can for this dude. And, there's a good dynasty tidbit there, too. You got to know when to cut bait and when to just get what you can for somebody, right? I'll give you a prime example. My brother-in-law has had Josh Gordon on his roster since 2016. He gets
super high on him, I bet.
I was just about to say Josh Gordon is a waiver wire pickup.
It's always, oh, he's on the block, and then he wants too much, and then it's just he's clogging a spot.
Just sell it, bro.
And I got news, and as a commissioner of some leagues, I just want to take a minute and say to some people here this. Do not bug your commissioner for NA/retired spots. If you want to hang on to Megatron and you want to hang on to Josh Gordon and who else? Justin Blackman and
Barry Sanders.
Exactly. And Gronk when he was retired.
Jay Cutler.
Jay Cuddy. That's on you. Don't make me change the rule of the leagues because you want to clog a roster spot to get a 5th round pick. You know what I mean? Don't bug your commissioners.
Oh, he was supposed to be so good.
I have a question for Aaron. We're talking prospects here, and tight end 2. Who is he in the class and why?
Oh, at tight end 2. Oh, Pat.
Yeah,
for sure.
Pat, that's who I have too. I love Pat.
I really like his game. In fact, I had him ahead of Pitts start of the season. I had him ahead of Pitts,
wow.
So that's
I would love.
I was high on him. I mean, some people.
I would love to see Kansas City get him and have him just learn under Kelsey.
God bless.
That'd be great. Yeah, I mean, he reminds me a little bit stylistically of Gronk. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying he's going to be Gronk by any means, but he's a pretty dynamic kid. He had a knee injury the other week, which I think we should keep an eye on. I think it's a minor issue. It might be a meniscal issue, though, just something to keep in mind. But, yeah, unfortunately, he hasn't had a lot of opportunities this year. He played in maybe 2-3 games. And Pitts has been running away with that tight end 1 title, as he should be at this point. But keep an eye out for Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State.
Well, Penn State has no quarterback either. Sean Clifford's trash. The guy that's behind him is worse. I can't believe how much is Trace McSorley right now, who has the highest quarterback rating in the NFL. I'd like to add.
Oh my gosh.
Leave that alone, Mike.
He does. I'm just saying.
I know, but it's skewed. That's stupid.
Did you hear the song? Did you hear the Trace McSorley song?
And we're talking some depth running backs. You said it's really deep. So what are some targets that you're looking for on your round 3 picks? I'm looking for Jarrett Patterson specifically from Buffalo. I really love him. But who are you looking for, Aaron?
I was about to just say Jarrett Patterson. So I was about to ask you what are your thoughts on him because he looks like a freaking animal.
Sure.
I've been on a freshman year.
Okay. I mean, he's got a ton of collegiate production, so that's really exciting, right? I mean, he's elusive, breaking arm tackles. He's pretty explosive. I'm not going to say he's a burner, but he runs really tough for his size. So he's not like this huge running back. So that's the thing that concerns me about the upside. We were talking about Ito Smith earlier. I could see him being a little bit better in between the tackles runner than Ito Smith, but similar type of player, or maybe a more powerful Boston Scott. And we've honestly seen some nice flashes out of Scott recently. So those are a couple of comps that I think I like. As far as his ranking, he's kind of in that late third for me right now. I have him as my 34th overall prospect in Superflex leagues. But as far as depth running backs, to answer your question, Max Borghi out of Washington State, I think he's got a lot of PPR upside.
Yeah,
I think people were very annoyed. Yeah, yep. People were very annoyed hearing like the comps to Christian McCaffrey and whatnot because he's white. And I mean, I you're right. I mean, and I get it, right? It's really lazy to see a guy who, and just have that easy comp. But man, Max Borghi, he is a talented pass catcher as a running back. So I like him. I like Jamar Jefferson out of Oregon State. CJ Verdell, I'm a little bit lower on him, but I mean, if he falls into that third round category, he's money. I actually like Kennedy Brooks out of Oklahoma. I don't mind him. Zamir White out of Georgia, especially as like an in between the tackles, 2 down type of guy. Michael Carter out of UNC. So Javonte Williams has been climbing people's boards. He's the RB3 in this running back class for a lot of people. And I can respect that. I like him a lot, but Michael Carter is quietly matching his production, not TDs wise, but everything else. So keep an eye out for the slightly smaller size Michael Carter as another running back.
Aaron, we got a question here for you from Sean Fournier, our intern. He says, question for Aaron, being a PT, assuming not a PT cruiser, mechanic joke. Those cars were garbage. Buy one. What are your thoughts on what we know about Gibson? I'm assuming Antonio Gibson. Any hope to return this year and beat up Porkman?
Ooh. Yeah, so I believe he has a turf toe injury. I haven't seen the latest updates to see if they clarified on that at all today, but just looking at the mechanism of injury, it did seem like there was that hyperextension of his toe. And I mean, that's going to be maybe a 2+ week injury you're looking at. So it's going to be tough. I think they have motivation to bring him back. But man, it could be 2 to 4 weeks. So I'm hoping more on the 2 range because I'm hoping to get him back for one of my hopefully championship runs, but we'll see.
Okay, perfect. Great. So
I got a question as well. So we're hearing a lot about the 22 class not being up to par of kind of other classes that have been brought to us before. What are you doing with those second and third round picks? Are you trying to trade them now, or are you trying to wait a little bit later to get those picks traded?
Yeah, no, great question. I am still trying to buy up 2022 picks purely for the reason that they can't get injured, they can't depreciate in value, and people are discounting them either through the stigma of, oh, it's just a bad class, you don't want to mess with those picks, or that they're just so far away that people kind of in the back of their mind, they're like, oh, I'll throw a 2022 second at a guy. I think they're great add-in assets and trades. So I'm trying to acquire some of those picks. It's not like that's my sole reason. Like that's my main focus in most of my trades right now, but I am definitely trying to pick up extra ones here or there. So as far as that draft class goes, yeah, I'm not super impressed with it either, but I still think that there's a lot of decent talents in that class. There's some running back prospects that are intriguing. Yeah,
I love me some David Bell, some Garrett Wilson. Those guys are some names that I'm looking for, and that's why I am personally buying 2022 picks as well, because they don't appreciate it. You're going to get Garrett Wilson if you get someone whose team is injured and you get their first.
Maddie, are you a Devi guy? That I
am huge into Devi.
You never told me this.
I'm a film grinder here.
You got to tell me these things, man, because I got to know, so I know what to ask you about, man. So, hey,
ask me about Zach Wilson.
Yeah, there we go. Love it. Go ahead. Sorry, Aaron. Zach Wilson, thoughts?
Oh, Zach Wilson. Yeah, I watched his game this last weekend, and I wasn't quite as impressed as I thought I would be, but I actually need to put on the tape. Not that I'm purely just a tape or a film guy, but I do need to watch more of him. So we're just going to have to see. I mean, right now, I still have Trey Lance slightly ahead of him because Trey Lance gives you a little bit more upside, in my opinion. I don't know. I know there's a lot of question marks around him, but I think he has a lot of upside. He's got a lot of tools.
All right.
Yeah, I agree with the Trey Lance take. Trey Lance I think if Trey Lance runs a sub 4.5 40, you're going to see him go top 10. And he's fast too. He's very elusive. He makes people miss. Zach Wilson, the same thing. He's fast too. Don't discount Zach Wilson. He can move in the pocket. I said this today on Twitter to Nate Christian. I said he reminds me of a little bit of Patrick Mahomes-esque in the way he moves in the pocket and gets the ball out of his hand because he can deliver the ball from any arm angle he wants. I posted a fleet today on my Twitter, and it was a throw that Zach Wilson had made, and it was a nuts throw. Like, it was against Coastal Carolina, one of the worst games he's had, and he still made a throw where he's off balance, and he's throwing off his back foot. He just zips it, and it's perfect placement. That's just an NFL caliber throw.
He's got some great tools, and like you mentioned, I like his athleticism. I like his arm. The two things that I want to see more of, or that people should be critical of, is looking at the offensive line to see, are they a big product of the success from that offense, from that BYU offense this year, and then also just level of competition. So when he plays better competition, are those games that he doesn't do very well at? So those are just a couple of things I'm watching for him.
Definitely.
Yeah, I want to know, hey, Nate, you said you couldn't be on tonight, but you're still commenting.
It's because he's watching the game. The Ravens are more important than us, which is fine.
Cowboys, man. Well, hey, that's all I got. I don't know about you guys, but so, hey, listen, thank you everybody for tuning in for the last, 12, 13 weeks, whatever it's been. Math is hard for me. I don't know. This is our last
I
one.
can tell.
Yeah. I need a calculator to do math. It's our last one of the season. Waiver Wire show's been fun. Thank you to everybody. Aaron, thank you for coming on. We're going to get your information before we head out then. But thanks again. We're going to switch it up. Like I said before, we're going to be going back to Dynasty content. So check back with us, 9 o'clock Friday night, the huge. We are not doing a podcast on Christmas, though, because we're just not, because it's Christmas. So you can deal. Thank you, Doug. We love you too. Oklahoma Doug checking in saying love the show. We do appreciate that.
Love Doug.
So like I said, got some great stuff coming. It's going to be fantastic. Going back to Dynasty, that's what we do best. All of our guests throughout the summer, throughout the fall, throughout the season here, it's been fantastic having you on. Oklahoma Doug, one of those people. But hey, listen, Aaron, why don't you take us out, lead us out here, and then we'll say bye to everybody else. So again, tell us where we can find you and what you're up to.
Absolutely. So you can find me on Twitter at Aaron Wilcox86. I'm going to be putting out some more content as a Dynasty writer, and then also some Devy content as well. Doing some podcasting with the Dynasty Monocle series. And as far as any takeaways, I mean, just keep grinding. Just keep grinding the rest of the season. Like, whether you are trying to sell, assuming that you have trade deadlines are still open, whether you're trying to sell assets to contenders as a rebuilding squad, or whether you're trying to buy a couple of pieces on the cheap to get that championship run. But just keep grinding, keep active, keep sending those trade offers, keep doing your thing.
All right. Love it. Great advice. Never quit, especially if you are in Dynasty. So, Maddie Big Chest joining us again. Always good to have you back on. Where can we find you on Twitter?
Yeah, find me on Twitter at Matty Big Chest. And then join the Dynasty Warzone Patreon if you have a chance. It's a great community. We're growing. We're about 70 members deep. I know Mike doesn't like group chats, but it's one of the best group chats you can be a part of.
I don't. And I know I sound like a grumpy old man, but the phone just keeps blowing up. And listen, if you need any graphics or anything done, hit up Matty Big Chest. Use the promo code #Comcast screwed me. You will get a 0% discount, but it's just fun. On time. He's going to set you up. He works fast. It's just great. But I'm not going to tell you what he does. He's going to tell you. Doug saying Chev's starting to look like the guy that works on my equipment. #country. Doug, I don't know where you're going with that, but
hey, Doug, I'll be in Oklahoma City the 18th through the 23rd, man. Let me buy you a beer, bud.
Look at that. That'd be great.
Find you.
Take pictures.
That'd be awesome.
tweet out on the show.
First of all, did you see Doug? He cut his mullet.
He looks
That's
good.
tough.
It looks great.
Looks
Not
fresh.
that the mullet wasn't great, but the shape up was fire. I need to know who did that. Though.
Dougie Fresh,
You don't
baby.
have any hair to get shaped up, man.
I
Speak
know
about
that.
mullet.
Shape up my
Mine
beard,
out
you
right
goof.
All right, well, it's 8 for 7, Doug. Chev, where can we find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Chev Boyardee, boy with an I. Also, man, I wonder what our waiver wire first show was like compared to now. I feel like the names have gotten ickier the last couple weeks. So I'm curious to see what our first waiver wires were.
Chev, let's not forget, at one point, the words Kalen Blage and Bell Cow were in the same sentence. That's all right there. What else do you need to say aside from that? So
2020. What
Are we forgetting Ernest Johnson?
Oh, the Ernest Johnson.
Oh yeah, the 1 week wonder.
not even a 1 week wonder because he had that game where everyone got hurt. Chubb was out. Kareem Hunt got hurt.
Mhm.
At the game. Did he even really do anything in his one chance?
Nope.
He earned his way out of there.
Exactly. Hey, Doug says he cut his own hair. Well, dude, I give you credit for cutting your own hair because if I cut my own hair, it would not be good, man.
Nope.
It would probably look like the next guy's hair. Porkman, where can we find you on Twitter until Friday?
There's nothing wrong with my bald head, you bum.
Well, I would have to
You
do
can
it like
find me-
you mess it up so bad.
You can find me at FF Porkman on Twitter. DMs are always open 24/7.
All right. DMs are always open. Porkman does not sleep. His sleeping hours are from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. when he will start talking in the group chat about who we got on Dynasty Owner. And who ignores all the group chats is myself. You can find me on Twitter at the MBauer85 if you're so inclined. I would much prefer you follow the show at Dynasty Rewind. Until Friday, everybody, be kind. Please rewind. Thank you for watching the Waiver Wire Show. We'll see you next season. Good luck in the playoffs, everybody. Unless you're playing one of us, in which case, maybe next time. See you later.